Well, we had our net meter switched out yesterday, uh, and we have a smart meter now. It's a little confused. It doesn't know whether to go forward or back. It's still showing zeros. For a while yesterday, it went to 99.999, which means it was starting to go backwards, which I was pleased about. But anyhow, it'll be interesting to watch whether it goes forward or backward through the rest of these winter months. Then hopefully it'll go backwards this summer. It's a small thing, but it's kind of fun for me. I think that until we figure that one out, I'd like to spend some time talking about our future as a country and our past. They're tied together. Today I just heard that the Mexican nationals that are here in this country with all proper documentation that are being treated as criminals, not just people that have been found to be guilty of criminal charges, but all Mexicans, some Native Americans, by accident. That's crazy. We can do much better than that. We're not a racist country. Maybe we are, but I don't think that we are. I've never found it to be that way. And I think spending a little bit of time talking about how we were able to acquire 55% of the country of Mexico through a very unfair war is a good place to start, because understanding why we've been the way we have with Mexicans, and maybe how we can improve our act a little bit, because we're not bullies. I'm not a bully. And whenever I hear people saying that others are woke, what I hear is that people want others to stay ignorant of our past. So I'm going to spend some time talking about our past with Mexico, probably starting at least by St. Patrick's Day, when I start telling you about the San Patricios, which were soldiers in the American army who changed over to the other side after we invaded Mexico and fought for the Mexicans. They're heroes down there. They were called the San Patricios. And it shows you how complex that period was just before the Civil War. Many of you may be in high school, if your history classes got up to the Civil War, may remember that we kind of skipped over the Mexican War. Well, the Mexican War kind of set the stage for the Civil War. It kind of drew the lines, made them more clear and distinct, because we went into Mexico just after we agreed that Texas should be a state. And Texas was a slave state back in those days, and that war that Texas had with Mexico, was a lot of it was about slavery and the people in Texas that wanted to have slavery. And the Texans never quite got over the Texans that were killed, which is understandable in that war. But the truth is, that was a war about slavery. And when we acquired Texas, we acquired a slave state. And then right after that, the president we had, President Polk, who we only had for one term, was very much like President Trump. He wanted California, he wanted New Mexico, and he wanted to get it any way possible. And as it turned out, we ended up having to have a very serious war, which is what I want to talk to you about in upcoming episodes. When I had the the meter changed out yesterday, I was hoping to have my first podcast with another person involved. We'll get to that. But the guy that came to change my meter, I really liked him. He was on contract to Northwest Energy. He did a good job. It didn't take him very much time at all to change out the meter. But one of the things he told me, he saw the solar system. He didn't like solar so much because he thought there was better ways to do things, and he didn't like wind because it kills birds, he said. And I have heard all those arguments. He had spent time working in a nuclear power plant for 10.5 years back east. He's from South Carolina. And he'd spent time in the Navy before that, repairing helicopters. And I really liked the guy. And so I asked if he was is interested in being a outside lineman, because I think he's the quality of worker that the linemen need to be to do that job. And he is. So we're doing what we can to get him going in that direction. Because as we move ahead to try to unclutter our electric power grid and get the power that we need for all the things we need to accomplish with electricity, we're going to have nuclear power. and we're going to have a place to put the nuclear waste. So knowing that everything has a downside, we have to start facing some facts and make some hard decisions. And one of the things I'd like to talk about in the future, in our future, is how we're going to get there along some kind of a route that gives us nuclear power. And that's all I have to say for right now, except it's another beautiful day in Montana, and my meter's still on the zeros. Take care.